I think we are entering the era of TradWife Fatigue. Remember when Nora Smith or Ballerina Farms first started going viral? It was controversial, people did have a lot to say about it, but generally speaking, it was something new on the internet. We'd had family or mommy vloggers before, but TradWives introduced something new, the narrative according to which a woman's place is in the kitchen and with the kids. Now, this narrative itself obviously isn't anything new, but I just think that it hadn't been used as a branding tactic before Nora and Hannah became big successful creators. And as it is, when a creator becomes very popular for something, copycats quickly follow. And this is exactly what happened with TradWives. There was an outpour of women who saw how successful this type of content is and started to post in the same way. It got to a point where very young, just starting creators are trying to make their way on TikTok by adapting the same approach. The problem is, it's very hard to take a TradWife seriously when she's 19 years old. It's hard to listen to a teenager talking about how divorces shouldn't exist, how she and her husband or boyfriend are never going to split up so she doesn't have to care about the what-if scenarios. It's hard to take seriously a 19-year-old who claims that she has her entire life planned out and that plan is definitely going to turn out exactly the way she wants to. Because we were all 19 once and we know how it is. And I think we are collectively getting tired of them. We are getting tired of the narrative that reduces women to labor machines. We are getting tired of how above everyone else they seem to feel, especially in comparison with the other women who chose not to be housewives. Because according to them, being a housewife is a traditional and therefore a good and desirable thing to be. And we are obviously tired of the constant rage bait. Because most of them aren't that trad after all. They seem to be more preoccupied with creating viral hooks and responding to comments rather than taking care of their families. And the grift is becoming more and more obvious with every new creator. The creator I want to start with is a girl called Ava. She is particularly skilled at making very attention-grabbing hooks. Like for example in this video, which is about making coffee. You wouldn't get it from the hook, would you?
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5, and I'm exactly where I want to be. Let me answer all your questions. Yes, I got engaged at 18, married at 19. I didn't go to college. I don't plan to. I don't have a degree. I don't have a job, and I'm not getting one.
This is another common theme with creators who have recently been going viral, like Ava, Ellie, who I will talk a little bit more about later on, and Lily, who I've already made videos about. They all aren't going to college. They aren't pursuing any type of education, training, certification, nothing. And instead, apparently out of their own volition, they are staying home to pursue cooking and bearing children. Is it okay to not go to college? Obviously. Is it okay to want to have children and a family? Even more so. But is denying that education has any value part of their entire gimmick? Yes, because that's part of what makes those videos go viral. They often criticize women who go to college for wasting their time because a degree doesn't guarantee employment or success. They also like to say that women who pursue some type of career, they still submit to a man, it's just their boss and not their partner. I think they are trying to reframe going to college as something that women should be ashamed of, because you have to put in all that work, right? You have to work hard for a degree and then you have no guarantee of being employed or earning a lot of money. And that might be true, especially with the job market being what it is. But first of all, what you gain from education, the value of education goes beyond like monetary value, your financial compensation. Obviously, it depends what you're studying, what you're interested in, but education gives you a lot in terms of like personal development. It teaches you a lot about the world. Like whatever it is you're studying, you're going to make your outlook on life and people in general broader. In college, you also interact with like a bunch of different people. You get to figure out who you really are and learn about things that you would never hear about if you just stayed in your hometown. And then when you do go to work, you have a lot more freedom than any wife who uses her husband's bank account. Even if you don't make a lot of money, you still have more freedom than a wife who has to go to her husband and ask him for money. And on top of that, having a job can give you a gratification well beyond money, right? Like, contrary to popular belief, I think a lot of people like their jobs, or at the very least, they are getting some type of like non-monetary gratification. For example, they feel like they are changing something in the world, like they are helping somebody, maybe they are fulfilling their ambition. So even if you don't make a lot of money, even if you are not like, don't have a stable career, still having a job can have a lot of benefits beyond that. But it's so typical, in my opinion, for those creators to reduce everything to a monetary exchange. I mean, they made relationships transactional. You know, like the guy has to go to work and the woman works at home, and it's a transaction, and that's why both of them are happy. That's why both of them are treated fairly or whatever. So if they managed to reduce relationships into transactions, I'm not surprised they don't see any value in working other than making money. But let's get back to Ava's story.
I love to cook for my husband. I love to host. I love to run our home. These are things I'm very passionate about. I get asked about this a lot, but me and my husband dated for 6 weeks before getting engaged. Also, yes, me and my husband do have an age gap. He is 10 years older than me.
Now listen, I generally don't have a problem with relationships with an age gap, even if the age gap is really big, as long as both people are over the age of, I don't know, 23 or something. I do, however, find it disturbing and a little bit disgusting that a 28-year-old guy with his life probably more or less figured out wants to marry an 18-year-old who has barely any, if any, experiences in the adult world. But Ava has no problem with it, and she even very openly brags about how rich her husband is. This is why I say they reduce relationships to transactions, because this is like another common theme among those creators, that they love to brag about how much money their man makes or how rich he is, just so they can show off that they can spend this money and do whatever they want with it. They don't want to be seen as women who simply don't have the education or skill set to make a lot of money. They want to be seen as women who purposefully chose not to work for some higher, more noble reasons. They want to be seen as the good wives who do their duties and therefore they deserve to be provided for. They want to entice jealousy about how well off they are, how they can spend the entire days doing whatever they want whenever they want. They are trying to sell you a fantasy that if you only marry the right man, life can be a dream.
A lot of people seem to think I got married for religious reasons. That's not true. Yes, I'm religious. I'm not that religious. I chose to get married young because I wanted to. And I'm told by a lot of people that I should be young and out there and living my life. I don't know what that means. I promise you I am living my life to the fullest in my faithful marriage.
As you can imagine from a video like this, there were a lot of people in the comments talking about how she should have a backup plan in case something happens. And those type of comments are very typical among any type of video like this from a 19-year-old who says that she's not working, she's like just a wife or whatever. So let's talk about what I think they would do if they split up with their husbands. Obviously, right now I will be generalizing because I don't know each of these women like personally, so I cannot tell you what I think they would do, but there are a few plausible scenarios. I think in some cases there is genuinely no plan B. I mean, they feel like they've struck gold and there is nobody and nothing that will convince them otherwise. I mean, they are like 19, in love, in a serious relationship, and they probably think that the honeymoon phase will last forever. And I wish them all the best, but it's just hard for me to imagine that after knowing somebody for 6 weeks at the age of 19, you know them well enough to say that your marriage will last forever. But maybe that's just me. Something I saw someone say in a comment somewhere is that their plan B might be just another man. That if they, divorce their current husband, they're just going to look for another man to provide for them financially. But the most plausible scenario, in my opinion, is that their plan B is their social media career. Because they may be preaching being a stay-at-home mom who only cares about the kids and the house and all of the stuff, but somehow they are showing up on TikTok as if it was their regular job. And that's part of the grift, in my opinion. On one hand, they are claiming that all they want to do is take care of the house, but on the other hand, they post about it all the time as if they needed this validation that what they are doing makes them the traditional good wife. It's all a facade to convince you that they are different from the other women who, God forbid, went to college and have a job now. They pose themselves as the noble ones who do what women should be doing, their words, not mine, while actively desperately seeking attention and, dare I say, virality. And as I told you, I think Ava is really good at it. I mean, she's really good at going viral and making very good hooks, like this one.
Hey guys, my husband said that if I make him a really good dinner tonight, that I can go outside for a whole hour tomorrow.
Or this one.
Hey guys, I'm back and I decided to listen to all of your advice and go pursue getting a degree. Psych, I'm back in the kitchen where I belong.
Or even this one.
To all the girls wondering if you should get married young, you can choose a college degree. Or you can choose Chanel.
And to all the people in her comments asking, is it Ragebait? Is it satire? The answer is yes. That's exactly what it is. She knows exactly what she's doing. And when people started criticizing her for the age gap in her relationship, she posted a video which her husband filmed of her playing on the playground. Like, she was doing the whole thing. She was on the swing, on the slide. She was like climbing the ropes while chewing gum. You know, she purposefully played very much into what people were criticizing her for, just rage baiting everybody for some more views and attention. And then she has the audacity to say this.
Respectfully, stop offering me money. Brand, we need to talk. Let me save you guys some time. I really do appreciate the offers, but I have never and will never take $1 from any brand. I'm a stay-at-home wife and I will continue to be that. I don't have a job. I don't want a job. Stop trying to give me a job. I didn't start this page to make money. I just started it to share my life and to inspire other young women out there who do what I do, who want to be good wives, who want to do things for their husband. I show my outfits, show what I do day to day. I don't intend on ever monetizing this account. And again, I'm super grateful for all the offers, but the messages are clogging my inbox and I'd rather spend that time responding to all the loving comments from other young women who want to get married young. Also, I couldn't accept these brand deals even if I wanted to. My husband doesn't want me working and making my own money. Why would he? That's like the least sexy and feminine thing that I could do. Working and making money is literally a man's job. Why would he want me to do that? So although I appreciate the consideration, I will have to respectfully decline in perpetuity of all the brand deals you may want to give me. I'm literally happy where I am, staying home, making bread, being a wife. Stop trying to give me a job, please.
This is so funny on one hand because I will admit she's getting very good views. So I could imagine that brands are reaching out to her proposing brand deals, but I don't think it's like so many brands that her DMs are like spammed and she doesn't see the messages from like the other young women who want to be good wives. She's once again bragging about how well she's doing, that if she only wanted to, she could make bank from TikTok, but she doesn't want to do that because she's a good wife and she wouldn't demean herself by working for a paycheck. It's part of her curated persona, the persona that gets her engagement, likes, views, the persona that will allow her to build a strong personal brand which could be monetized without any brand deals. I mean, I can already imagine her selling some one-on-one TradWife coaching or something. And as you might have noticed, she also used that video as the great opportunity to once again criticize other women, those who are working and therefore aren't feminine. Again, not my opinion. And this is another thing that contributes to this whole TradWife fatigue. The fact that they are claiming to be like so happy with their lives, but they are constantly like comparing themselves with the other women, with the ones that work. They are constantly like putting them down, I don't know, just so that the TradWives look better or something. They're also very clearly trying to appeal to, I think, a primarily male audience who only appreciates women who are traditional, who don't work, who don't speak up, who are very submissive to their husbands. But I will talk a little bit more about it later, but I think they're mostly trying to appeal to the audience who disagrees with them because those are the people who are getting them most engagement. The superiority complex, the constant need to compare themselves with the others is a pivotal point in their branding. A TikTok TradWife wouldn't be a TikTok TradWife if she didn't try to prove that she made better choices than going to college. Which brings us to Ellie, who's boyfriend is very against her going to college. Ellie, I consider a tradwife in like the TikTok influencer sense, even though she isn't a wife per se. She isn't really even engaged. She's 19, living with her boyfriend and believing that this bond will last forever. Ellie's case is therefore a more interesting one, in my opinion. Say what you want about marriage, but if the arrangement is that he goes to work and she stays home to take care of the house, the children, etc. Marriage offers certain benefits and protections that unmarried women don't have in that arrangement. What makes Ellie's case even more interesting is that her boyfriend is so against her going to college that he said he would break up with her if she ever did.
You want to go to college? What, so you can make $100,000 a year when you're 40? Yeah, you're not going to college. If you're going to go to college, we can break up. It's not an issue.
You gonna break up with
I
me?
wish you would have told me that when we started dating 3 years ago. I would have not gone with you to begin with.
Wait, you're only with me because I don't go to college?
Yeah. I get to be with you every day, so now I know that you're not going to Wednesday wine with guys. You're not going to every Friday frat party and slightly micro-cheating on me. So since you didn't go to college, now I'm able to know that you're not micro-cheating with me every week or month. Am I wrong?
Oh. No?
No.
The reasons he gives why he doesn't want her to go to college are very ragebaity and very coordinated to what people will react to. And it's even more ragebaity because Ellie, according to Ellie, a breakup is not even a thought in the relationship, even though we can clearly see that he has thought about it.
I'm a 90-year-old stay-at-home girlfriend, and I know that saying that divorce should not be like a word that you say in your marriage. That's how the word breakup is in my relationship. It's just not a topic. We don't really talk about breaking up. It's never been a thing because we just know we're never
He just said it. He just said the word.
we're gonna break up. Like, it's like the same thing just for a relationship because we want this to work. I want it to work with Hagen so bad, and it is because I'm willing to do that. Like, I'm willing to make it work, and he's also willing to do the same thing. Like, we're both here to put in the effort and make our relationship work.
To me, when someone says that divorce is not an option or a breakup is not an option, is when they are aware that their partner might change, because that happens, right? Everyone changes throughout their lives, and who you're with is probably a different person to who you will be with in 15 years, even though it's going to be like the same human being, but they will just change, right? So whenever people say that divorce is not an option, breakup is not an option, I think they have that in mind. They have in mind that this person will change, maybe they will make different choices than what we agreed on, and we will still be together. And clearly, this is not the case in their relationship if he says that if she ever goes to college, he's going to break up with her. So I'm not sure if, like, she knows what she's talking about. So far from what she's been showing, she's the only one putting in the effort, and he's the one just getting all the rewards from her effort. And in exchange, he works. You know, he isn't nice to her, he isn't even respectful of her, we'll get to that, and all she gets is that she doesn't have to work. She is trying to say the same thing that the married tradwives are saying, but her words have even less meaning because she simply isn't married. Like, if they are so sure that they will be together forever, at this point, you can just get married, you know, or get engaged or whatever. And I wouldn't normally say that to somebody, but if they're all, like, if she is talking about how, like, committed they both are and how much they want to get married, they might as well just, like, do it if that's, like, their whole thing, that they will never break up, never divorce, just get married at this point or engage. Like, I know getting married is like a whole thing, it takes a long time to plan it, a lot of money, blah blah blah, whatever, like, I get it, but if you're so convinced of it, like, you might as well just get married. And this is where we get to a point where I can't really tell how much of it is just for the cameras and how much of it is the real life, because she keeps talking about how much she wants to get married and all of this stuff, and then she posts him and he just clearly doesn't want to get married as much as she. And I don't know how much they are playing it up for the camera and how much of it is their actual reality, but this is the case based on what he says.
When are you gonna propose to me?
Why would I give you half my shit?
But, like, that's, like, what a marriage is about, like, having, like, me having some of your stuff.
Yeah, I know, but, like, right now when we get in an argument, we figure it out because you need me, right?
Uh-huh.
But if we're married and we get in an argument then you're just gonna leave me, and then you'll be worth like 500 grand.
So
So why would we get married? Right now, if we don't get married, then we'll never break up.
oh, okay. That's a good point.
You're hot, I'm rich, so we both need each other.
Okay. Valid.
Now, this video is obviously Ragebait stage. I don't believe that this is their like genuine conversation, but like I told you, I just cannot tell how much of it is for the camera at this point. But I think this is also like they are part of the new era of influencer couples where like a guy is kind of disrespectful to her and she is just so happy to submit to her. Like this is the wet dream of a red pill man, right? And that's what they are playing into. And I'm wondering whether putting out this image of your relationship is really a good idea, even if you want to be an influencer, because I do think they both want to be influencers. Like, she is posting quite a lot, and someone asked her in one of her comments what he does for a living, and she said, I think landscaping and social media. And when you go to his TikTok account, he mostly posts about his business, but every now and again he will post something more personal, which we will see in a moment. But if you want to be this influencer, I don't know why you would position yourself as a sidekick in your own relationship. Like, that's really what she's putting out there. She's very like boyfriend centered. Everything she talks about revolves around like her husband, her boyfriend, and how submissive she is to him and all of this stuff. And then she posts him, and he is just straight up disrespectful to her.
One thing as a man that I love is when you clean for me, okay? So just because all your friends are mad that I put all my trash outside of the driver door when I get out, saying that I'm like using you, you need to ignore them. Your friends don't know shit, okay? For the rest of my life, I will take all the cups and trash out of my car every time I get home, and I will leave it next to the car for you to throw in the trash. If you're upset with it, then I can leave all the stuff inside the car and you can clean it on your own. Okay, so ignore your friends. They're poor. Half of them are probably, the other half are liberals. Okay, so don't ever come with me with some dumb shit like that.
Okay.
If a man ever spoke to me like this, I'd be out of that relationship in seconds. I'm telling you. Even though I know this is just for content, I just cannot look at this and not get mad. Like, they cracked the code for Ragebait. I do have to admit that they are good at that. But he goes further, and if you go on his TikTok, then he has even more interesting things to say.
Your girlfriends start dating in high school. At the end of high school, y'all graduate. She decides to go to a big college. You stay home to focus on making money and growing your business. While she's in college, she's going to every Wednesday wine and every frat party, and she's drinking 4 to 5 days a week. And then you find out she cheats on you. She comes home, she apologizes, she cries, so you forgive her, right? You know, everyone makes mistakes. 4 years of college goes by, she comes back, she's like, hey, you know, you've been working on your business, making this money, can we get a house? Can I get a new car? So you end up marrying her, having 2 kids with her, buying a house for her, buying a car, and then 4 years later, she gets a divorce with you and takes half your stuff. That's the reality. That's what happens when you let a girl go to college where she gets brainwashed into being an independent woman, and then she takes all your and she cheats on you all the time.
Let's for a moment entertain the idea that this is what he actually thinks. And just imagine how insecure you have to be about yourself and your relationship to actually think something like this. If anyone's been brainwashed here, it's him into believing that women are turned independent in college and then they will divorce you and take half of your hard-earned money. Like, this is the brainwashing that some men are clearly not immune to. This screams insecurity in every way possible. No person who is confident about themselves and who is in a happy relationship with somebody who they can trust would ever try to stop their other half from bettering themselves, because that just means they are going to drink every day and cheat on you and all of this stuff. Like, this is just pure insecurity speaking. And somehow it's easier for me to believe that he actually thinks that than that she agrees with it. Because it's like almost impossible for me to imagine a woman who allows a man, her boyfriend, her partner, to speak to her and about her like this. And someone in the comments of one of her videos said, I think people are hoping that it's just rage bait, because while rage bait is super lame, it's still a much better alternative than you actually believing this stuff. And I am hoping that this is rage bait, because the alternative is that this 19-year-old girl with her whole life ahead of her is choosing to be in a relationship with a man who thinks so little of her that he says that she would cheat on him if she ever went to college. And she is allowing his behavior, what we've seen in all of those videos, she is allowing all of that, even though she has the right to the same dignity in this relationship as he does. And all of that creates this fatigue with this type of content. Somehow, my entire For You page is filled with creators like this, and I am baited. I am baited into feeling bad for them and into hoping they make better choices. Because this is so much more than just rage bait. I mean, this type of content entices so many emotions, because there are so many women who have been in like absolutely horrible relationships with men like this, and they are just trying to warn those like young girls from making the same mistakes. And creators like Ava or Ellie are just seeing women who failed because they are so convinced that they will never break up, never get divorced, that they think this type of like advice and criticism doesn't apply to them. But the truth is, nobody enters a serious relationship or a marriage thinking that things will end or turn badly. Ava especially, Ellie maybe a little less so, but still, is positioning herself as this like superior feminine woman who knows what a man wants, and she is giving that to him. Therefore, she is protected from all the things that happen to independent women, like divorce and being a single mom. What they don't understand is that everyone thinks that. No one wants to commit to somebody who they think will leave them, or to somebody who they think will treat them horribly. So people are getting tired of warning them, giving them advice, or even like interacting with their content in general. And that's why they are rage baiting so much, because they know that the majority of their engagement doesn't come from the people who agree with them, but from people who disagree with them. And this is the audience they are trying to entertain. As per usual, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments, and here are my previous videos about TradWives if you want to watch them. Obviously, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!